Why, hello there. Welcome to Smart Aspirations with Justin Huff. Sit back, chill out, and go on a journey around the world. Around the world. Justin will discuss tales of hope, discovery, and general irreverence with some of the most dynamic personalities in the travel business. Remember, we do cool shit, and so can you.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing extremely well. Welcome to another episode of Smart Aspirations with Justin Huff. I'm your host, Justin Huff, and welcome to episode 16, lucky number 16. I can't believe we've got this far already. We're approaching 20 episodes, which is where we'll be in a month's time. I know I'm a mathematical genius. But this week, I'm extremely excited to have my good friend, Zvonimir Androić, or as we call him, Z. He joins us from his home in Zagreb, Croatia. I know that a lot of you have expressed a ton of interest in visiting Croatia with me in the past, but you just weren't sure where to start. You weren't sure where to go, what to do, and this is the perfect starting point for you if you're interested in Croatia. It's not necessarily a destination 101, but this is just to whet your appetite. And we talk about private charters, overland excursions, kind of food and wine, things that you never really knew existed in this part of the world. I'm going to punt on this and guess that most of you guys have been to France and Italy, and Croatia offers something that's entirely different within the same sort of region and climate, and it's just something that you never knew existed. So when I first started offering Croatia as a destination, I obviously went to check it out first, and I just fell in love. And I had studied Slavic linguistics and culture before in school, and having this is like 20 years ago when I graduated, and wow, I'm dating myself. But yeah, it was just having that degree of familiarity with that from a personal level really stood out to me. And the people were just so incredibly warm and welcoming. And to be honest, it's just paradise without the throngs of tourists that you are accustomed to hearing about in other parts of the Mediterranean. Of course, during cruise ports of call in places like Dubrovnik, it will get crowded, but there are ways around that. You can visit in the late afternoon, you can visit at night, you can visit during shoulder season. It's unbelievable, and that should not dissuade you at all. It's incredible. And another interesting part of this chat that I had with Z is he really relates to his experience growing up in the war in the early 90s. And that's what I grew up in that as well. We're about the same age, which you'll see. And just incredible stories about his family history, which I really think make this a huge personal testament, to what he's done and what they've gone through as a nation, and see where they are now. I mean, it's at peace, it's stable, it's gorgeous, and for the most part right now, I mean, obviously all around the world, we are in the middle of COVID, but Croatia is open right now. If you want to go for a last minute holiday trip, it can absolutely be done. And the only thing you need is a negative COVID test. And we talk about that in depth in the episode. So if you're healthy, responsible, you want to get going, go for it. Croatia is not part of Schengen Europe, so there are no travel bans in terms of coming back to the United States, which is really good to know. But for the most part, sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee, not Starbucks, which you will not find in Croatia, and hope you enjoy. Take care.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Smart Aspirations with Justin Huff. I am beyond thrilled today to have one of my dear friends, Zvonimir Androić from Croatia. Viator is our ground handler in Croatia. He's joining us from his home in Zagreb. Z, what's going on? How are you, man?
What's up, Justin? Nice to see you smiling in these tough times for the industry, man.
Oh,
it's you don't see that a lot these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of doom and gloom, and I do have a philosophy for avoiding getting sucked down to all of the negative vibes that are going on here. Here it is. I don't watch the news.
There you go, man. That's how I am. When they say positive connects with positive, right? So it's a lot of good positive things happening lately. So Croatia's been good, doing good. I'm sure you've heard about it in the news that it's, the tourism was probably one of the best in Europe. So despite all the corona stuff that's happening, I think we did pretty well. So I'm not worried about the future, and I'm glad to share all the good things in tourism that are actually happening right now.
Definitely. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I put my money where my mouth is. I actually, last week, bought a plane ticket to come to Croatia.
That was a surprise when I saw that in my inbox. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, come on. I've traveled during the coronavirus pandemic thing, and I've got to tell you, I'm so comfortable with traveling right now. And I've taken the negative coronavirus 72-hour thing. It's so easy, and it's like, yeah, I think some people are very intimidated about it, but to be honest, I can't wait to get there. I know it's going to be safe and everything's going to be fine. You guys really have your act together.
Yeah, we do. I mean, now we have some spiking cases, but they came to the conclusion why it's happening. So now we are actually seeing the numbers going down again, and
that's awesome.
People are keeping, going back to the measures, being more responsible. A lot of things when you travel around Croatia, and especially down in Dalmatia. It's summertime. People got really relaxed, especially
Sure.
after a couple cocktails, right? So they're not, they were not wearing a mask. In Zagreb, it was really, really strict. Like they wouldn't let you in
Sure.
into the store if you didn't wear a mask. You couldn't pay for your gas bill at the gas station if you didn't put your mask on.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But it's northern you go, more relaxed people are. So in Dalmatia, I was there during the summer a lot of times. A lot more relaxed, and that's probably why we had some spiking cases.
Yeah.
But to be honest, now people understand that if we want to restart the tourism, we need to be responsible, and that's what they're doing right now. So that's
of
good.
course.
I'm proud of my people.
And Croatia's biggest industry is tourism, so this has obviously taken a major setback on a lot of people. But it's also inspired them to get. It's like, guys, this is our livelihood. This is our livelihood. We've got to get our act together. So yeah, good for you guys for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really exactly sure the percentage of GDP that the tourism actually holds, but it's a lot, and I know Croatia is definitely gonna see a lot of consequences from this corona. But 2021 is looking damn good, man. So awesome. I think it's for the best. It's for the best. For sure.
Yeah, why is it always that like odd years seem to be more positive ones? I don't know how that is, but for whatever reason, that's what works in my life.
Yeah. I think man, like when that happens, I saw a lot of colleagues in the industry just being down and pulling their heads off and what are we gonna do and this and that. I'm just look. First of all, nothing's gonna happen overnight. If you didn't take care of your business well, you're gonna go under in a couple months. But if you manage your business well, you have to survive for at least 6 months, with your overhead. So
sure.
The companies that did manage their business well, they're doing fine because now everything is going back to normal. Like I told you, man, we are having a lot of last minute bookings. We are getting a lot of requests for next year. Actually, they're booking. So I'm really seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Dude, that's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And continuing on a positive note, I want to tell the listeners, the first time I met you, it was in Zagreb, and we were going on a travel agent fam, and we were at the beautiful Esplanade Hotel, which is the best hotel in the city, hands down. Historically, it's fascinating. It was basically constructed, if I'm not wrong, to be a proper luxury hotel for people traveling on the Orient Express. And
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And everybody, the whole group was sitting outside on the deck and everything and having cocktails. And I came down and we had, said hi and everything. And everybody was going around and introducing themselves. And you got up and you said, you put your arms around this lovely girl and you said, "This is my wife, Ivana." This is Ivana. Don't hit on her. She's my wife. She ended up being with us for 2 weeks, and you had flown to the States, and I laughed my ass off. I thought that was great.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's an icebreaker. You have to do you have to do it.
That was so funny. It was so funny. But no, we that was one of the best 10 days of my life. We had a blast, and I know that we're talking about, me going to Croatia and Croatia being open for American travelers and travelers of many differing nationalities. What type of paperwork needs to be done in order to be like for immigration in order to enter to Croatia right now?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, you need to have a negative PCR test that's no older than 48 hours.
Okay.
I know that's a little bit of a problem for Americans, but not really because you did it, man. So
yeah, super easy.
Yeah, if it's easy, I mean, you just have to go to a private clinic, as far as I've heard. That's what all our new clients coming in are doing. So negative PCR test, 48 hours, and then everything is pretty much handled by us. Then you need to fill out some form that you need to present to the immigration upon entering. You need to have the proof of paid accommodation or package that we provide once you pay, and that's about it, man. You just pretty much have to have those two papers, and you're ready to get in. If you get COVID in Croatia, all you have to do is just stay isolated in the accommodation where you're staying, pretty much.
Okay.
Get tested, get hospitalized if you need, but we pretty much have all the connections to care of that as well.
Cool. I mean, that's easy, and I know, like you said, it might sound like daunting at first. It's easy. I'll show you how to do it. I did it myself. It's super easy. We'll ease any apprehension that's there. So I promise it's not a problem. Now, when people see Croatian marketing materials and everything, they have, like, they see Dubrovnik and they understand that, the Dubrovnik's a port of call for a lot of cruise ships and there are a lot of crowds and everything. I've experienced the entire country. What do you think what the normal perception is of travel to Croatia versus the actual experience?
Well, what's good about Croatia? It's the diversity of the country. Even if you go into, gastronomy, each region is different. If you go into culture, each region is different.
Right.
If you go into history, each region was different. And the reason behind it is that Croatia, as it's shaped today, it was reshaped so many times over the past years, right? Yeah. So we were under Romans, under Venetians, under Austro-Hungarians. Dubrovnik used to be its own republic. Istria wasn't even part of Croatia. It was part of Italy.
Right.
So, all that left a huge impact on today's Croatia. Perception that most of the people see, it's probably Dubrovnik, maybe Split, a little bit of Zagreb, and that's about it. We're talking about North America, right? But if you digger into Croatia, that's when you really truly experience what's really about it. So if you go behind the scenes spots, go to local family, see the way they live. Because let's be honest, in these tourist areas, it's becoming tourist, man, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you just can't avoid it. It's souvenirs from China. It's restaurants. Man. It's fish from the local market, from import. Let's just face the reality, right? But the good thing is that there are so many spots that are not tourist places, but are places where we locals go and spend our holidays. And we are not paying 100 euros for a plate of fish, right?
Yeah, right.
We are paying 50, and we want a domestic fish from Adriatic because we know the difference, and the owners of those restaurants will not fool us, right? Because it's hard. So when you go to these places, you see the difference, right? In Dubrovnik, you will end up in a bad restaurant if you don't know where you're going. In Split, you will do the same. But if you go to these local spots, that's where real charm gets out. Non-touristy, beautiful beaches, uncrowded places. You really then see the way the people live now.
You took us to this fabulous place outside of Dubrovnik, and it was just this local food. I mean, I'm not kidding. The pork just like melted in your mouth, and this cheese, the prosciutto. It's just like, oh my God, the bread, the food, the wine. It's all. I mean, one thing that's interesting that I didn't realize is that we asked about organic food and blah 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 blah. You guys just do things organically, naturally, and it's always been that way. It's not some fad that you're trying to catch up with or compare yourself to anybody else. Everything's fresh, everything's local. This from the Pački sir, the cheese from the island of Pag. I mean, that's how it is. That's how life is. It's always been that way.
Yeah. It is changing. I'm not gonna lie. It is changing with a lot of international store chains coming in. But still, we are doing really good. I still think that a lot of local people, like even we have our own garden at home, right? So our friends have gardens, so we don't go to the stores. We don't buy carrots from the store, fish from the store, or meat from the store. We just don't do it. We have somebody who has a local farm or local something, and we eat fresh food from our grounds, man. And it's not GMO or whatever it is.
Yeah. So, it's in your DNA to be organic for sure.
Exactly, it's organic 100%.
That's amazing. And you were talking about off the beaten path places, and what I found amazing is that most clients that are entertaining at the thought of going to Croatia, they've been to Italy, and 60 million people a year go to Italy, and you think this ideal this Tuscan villa or this Tuscan landscape and everything, which is gorgeous, and you can't deny that. But if you're cruising through Istria, and we went to Matovun, I mean, my God, that's right on par, if not more beautiful than, without the huge busloads of tourists everywhere that you turn, where it's impossible to walk around like a charming town. And on top of that, the truffles from that area and the meal that we had there was one of the top 5 best meals I've had in my entire life. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you know how they call Istria actually?
No.
They call it Croatian Tuscany.
Croatian Tuscany.
So, yeah. So it's funny that I thought you read something about it, but no. You see, there you go, man. They call it Croatian Tuscany. Dude, Istria, I have to admit, dude, for good plate of food, that's my favorite part of Croatia. Like, if you have ever interested people in food and wine experiences, and also really luxury hotels, like there is my Istra Hotel collection that just built up a new hotel. It's amazing 5-star property. So a lot of boutique hotels building up in Istria area. A lot of wine hotels building up as well. So you can pretty much sleep in a hotel with a wine area in front of you. So it's pretty cool. But let me get back to food and wine in Istria. It's truffles. You mentioned it, but Croatia also holds the Guinness World Record to find the biggest white truffle in the world ever.
Really?
I'm not sure of the number, but I think it's 2.1 kilo or something. Like, it's some big number. Like that has to be a big truffle, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, the 10% of all extra virgin olive oil in the world is actually from Istria.
No kidding.
Yeah. So all top extra olive virgin, let's say it has 1 million liters. It has more, but let's just say it. 10% of it, it's from Croatia. It's from Istria region. So there is a lot in Istria you can do. It's amazing place for somebody who wishes to explore food and wine scene. But as I said, Istria was part of Italy, so there is a lot of similarities. That's why they also call it the Croatian Tuscany.
And a lot of people might not know exactly where Istria is on the map, so we'll put a helpful map up there on the YouTube video if you're listening on YouTube. And having been to Istria, you do see a little bit of an Italian influence, but it's also got its own unique kind of autonomous type of vibe to it as well. Before we get into the actual regions and the experiences that you can do in Istria, best taking a step back towards the travel perceptions, you also have a lot of people see those, Croatia has 1,200 islands off the coast of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's gorgeous. A lot of them aren't inhabited, but you do see people wanting to get away with a group of friends. You're like, oh, let's jump on a yacht and do that, and just kind of like social distance ourselves that way. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can do a scheduled charter, and a private charter. And I don't think that people know the big difference of that. And I know that the experience is totally different. Could you comment a little bit about a scheduled charter versus a private charter?
Yeah. So it's not a scheduled charter. It's a scheduled cruise that you can buy in. Okay. Yeah. And let's say you just buy a cabin on a scheduled cruise.
And it could be with anybody?
It can be, so there are big cruise ships from, like Norwegian, like any other big cruise ships. They're all in Croatia already. So it's nothing new. You will see a lot of schedules. But also you have mini cruisers in Croatia, mostly run by Croatian companies. And they come with about 19 to 20 cabins.
Okay.
So it's still 40 people. It's like on the bus, right?
Right.
It's just on the water, so floating bus. But
That's a great way to put it. Is that how you envision your Croatia holiday? Floating bus.
Not really, but the big difference is this, man. Okay, so if you in front of yourself have a country with 1,200 islands and maybe 5 or 10% inhabited, so all others are secluded and private, and you can find your own island for the day. Do you really just want to be on a cruise ship and just pass next to those and just wave at them, or do you want to have your private yacht? Oh, let's go to this bay and let's bring out the water toys and let's go skiing, or let's go go sunbathing and suntanning in this bay, or let's go snorkeling or whatever. Hey, let's take the jet skis out. So, like, it's so much more fun. The big cruise ships and even the mini cruisers will go from big island to another big island, to another big island, to another big island. So first of all, they don't really have the ports to dock. So they have to go to big islands. These islands are all going to be crowded with tourists. And don't get me wrong, all these cruise ships are on the same schedule. So you will see, especially those Croatian ones, so you will see in Split, 20, 30 cruise ships just going out on the same time to Brač, on the same time to Hvar, on the same time to Dubrovnik. And they're all just docked next to each other. They sell there's a luxury cruise, but there's nothing luxury about it. Maybe the room is luxury, but other than that, nothing's luxury.
The experience is totally mass market. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally
nothing unique, nothing experiential really about it at all.
No, not at all. If, let's say you have 4 people traveling, that's what I'm trying to explain to everybody. Let's say you have 4 people traveling together, and they are paying for a cruise, scheduled one, $2,500 in high season, right? So if you put all that money together, that's $10,000. For $2,000 or $3,000 more, you can have a catamaran already. For that amount of money or less, you can have a sailboat.
That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. If you add maybe $5,000-$6,000, maybe you can have a smaller yacht or a goelette, right? Yeah. And what is good about it is you have your own captain, you have your own chef, you have your own hostess. So they cook what you like, not what other 40 people might like as well on the cruise, because, well, you get what they prepare to you, right?
Sure.
That's it. They stop the boat based on your preferences. So if you eat pistachios and drink Moet at night, that's what's going to be in your boat, right? So everything that's good, that you like, is there. It's fully customized experience for you. And dude, it's uncomparably good to a scheduled cruise. Nothing like it.
Yeah, I don't think that it's like total apples to oranges. And if you're going to go and spend, $10,000 on a scheduled cruise, why not just upgrade it to that little, and just the experience is just for that little a bit of an increase in incremental price. That's, again, I'll say it again for the third time, no brainer for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to Croatia, it's a big trip. It's a big trip, right? Sure. You are spending, over $1,000 on a flight. You're spending, a lot of money on the food in the restaurants. I mean, under $10,000, it's really hard you're going to go, right? Yeah. So why not splurge just a little bit more and not accept any compromises, man? Just do it your way. And that's what charters are really all about.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And when you have these, and not just with the private charters, but even when you're doing land-based excursions in Croatia, it's highly experiential. And I know that you have a lot of special touches that you can arrange for guests with differing interests. Could you comment about some of the special access experiences that we can arrange for clients going to Croatia?
Yeah, dude. So, a lot of times we get requests from agents like yourself, and they ask, well, my client really wants something that nobody did, or, something totally out of the blue. Yeah, exactly. So we were really, really thinking about it, and then we came up with some great ideas. For example, we can host a private dinner on Dubrovnik city walls, which are, by the way, on the UNESCO protected site. Right. You would have your own private tour of the walls, and then you'd be escorted to a private table of yours, and then we will have a private Michelin star chef serving you food. What we can do is in Istria region, for example, we can get the whole Colosseum for you.
Yes.
There is a huge Roman Colosseum in Pula, right? Very, very well, it's not damaged. It's really,
insane.
really well preserved.
Yeah.
And we can have the whole thing for private dinner. We even have like the gladiators that will kind of do a fight for you, the whole scene.
Yeah.
And we also have like a local artist that maybe play a dinner for you. Early access to Plitvice lakes when there is no crowds, or maybe medieval dinner in a castle, or like there is so much that we can do. It's just a matter of if people are what they're looking for. If you have clients that are experimental, absolutely we can really do a lot of things for them.
I want to comment on two things that you just mentioned. The first, the Roman amphitheater in Pula. And I know that most of the people listening have experienced the Colosseum in Rome. And I've seen both. The one in Pula, I'm not just saying this because you're on, and I love Croatia. It's the impression that you get from that Colosseum is so much more powerful than the one in Rome. It's much more well preserved. It's stunningly gorgeous. And I think that the added benefit of experiencing this place is that it's just more off the beaten path than the one in Rome. And the Plitvice lakes, I mean, I'd been there, and when I was there was really no way that you could, bypass the crowds or anything like that. And that has changed. And this is one of if you talk about just pure, just gorgeous colors and scenery, this place, again, I'll put up a photo, is a fairy tale. I mean, it's otherworldly. There is literally nothing else like this place on earth. And to be able to experience that with such special access is something.
But tell me, was it a little bit ruined because of the crowds?
I got to tell you, man, I had this, the bit where you walk up toward, like when you're leaving the park and you walk up and you can look down at all the lakes.
Yeah, to the big waterfall on the right side.
Yep.
Yeah.
The bridge that kind of bisects that one leg? It looks like an S and a snake. Again,
yes.
I'll put up a photo.
Yes.
I waited there for, at least 15 minutes. And with a group, that was hard to try to get a shot of that without a single tourist on. That was effing impossible.
Yeah.
And you do see a lot of people there. It does, no matter where you go to Taj Mahal, you go to Machu Picchu, the hordes of crowds take away from the experience, and there's no way around that. But when you have this type of arrangement, special access, ability to do it, you've got that network. It can really take a gorgeous, gorgeous place that has a lot of tourists and make it yours, make it your own private place.
Yeah. What also we are doing a lot, I'm not really sure how important that is to your clients and your agents. We really like to support the local economy, give it back and everything else. So, there is a lot of, for example, local designers that, did well on maybe in Paris or something, but are not really worldwide known or famous. So, for ladies who wish to have, something special made from a local designer, maybe, what we are doing is we are actually pairing them with the ones they really like. Some are doing, bathing suits, some are doing dresses, some are doing this and that. So depending on what the ladies or the guys would like, we take them there while they're in Croatia. They pick the style, they take the measures and everything, and then the designer actually does the dress and just sends it to America
with
a nice greeting. Exactly. What's a better souvenir than a designer dress from Croatia for a woman, right?
Absolutely, yes, man. Something you can't get in the States for sure, or other parts of Europe. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we are doing something like that. Also, there is a really expensive jewelry that's making out of corals in Croatia.
Okay.
So actually, what we are doing, we are taking it to a local island. It's called Zlarin.
Zlarin. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. And what they are doing is they handmade those jewelries.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you pick the style you wish, and they also can ship it to you. So there's so many hands-on activities and, these unique touches that we do with our clients. they really feel the difference, when they're booking with us or you, because we work together, or if they book online, or maybe through some big tour operator.
Of course,
really big difference.
Well, I mean, it's just those little special touches that make it completely different from everyone else. And when I started really getting interested in the world outside my immediate surroundings during the early 90s, and you guys were in a tragic war at that time. But I remember hearing the names like Croatians, Bosnian Serbs, Serbian nationals, all these different Bosnian Croats, all these different terms, and Albanians, and the whole list of the former Yugoslavia. But that's when I first really started getting interested in the world. And I know that a lot of people, I'm in my late 30s right now, and I know a lot of people, a lot of clients are listening around that age group and older. What are there any types of historical experiences, historical tours that touch on the rich, complex fabric of the early 90s and the makeup of the former and breakup of Yugoslavia?
Okay, so there are some military tours.
Okay.
So, for example, in this island, it also was a naval base for our ships. So there is a lot of underground water tunnels where submarines, where the ships were hidden. So in this, we can do a really nice military tour. Same in Brač. And also what we are doing right now, it's still not confirmed, but hopefully we will be able to make it. There are a couple of the generals still alive from the actual homeland war. And we are trying to work out with them a nice tour that would include, the war was spread out throughout the whole country.
Sure.
So how we are trying to do it, we would get into the military helicopter with the actual general, and he would pretty much take us from the start of 1991, where everything started.
Oh my God.
And then we would go battle by battle from the helicopter, just landing in those fields where the actual battles were held. And I think that would be really, really interesting, because look, usually you get those military history tours from guides, right? And they learn from books.
Yeah.
Dude, here you will hear from the guy that was on the front line.
They were right there.
Yeah, he was doing the strategy of how to protect, how to attack, how to do this, how to do that. So those informations you're not going to get from any guide. So
that is mental.
This is something we are finishing up, and hopefully we'll be able to do that, because the general is actually really, really interested, because he's retired. He has nothing else to do. So he would like to, he would like to spread that knowledge with the tourists, because that, that war, that's a really, that topic is really tricky topic, to be honest.
Sure.
You never know what people's standpoint is about the war. Yes, I'm Croatian, maybe I'm biased, but Serbs, come on, the Serbs did attack Croatia, right?
Of course.
We were really uncomfortable being in Yugoslavia. The money was, divided unequally.
Right.
We were paying a lot of taxes, and most of those tax monies were invested in development of Serbia, not in Croatia, not any other country. And we were bringing a lot of money because of the tourism. So we were very, very, very popular. So we said either it's going to be equal or we are spreading apart. So Slovenia, they spread apart, they just let them go. But when we wanted to spread apart, they said, no, you guys can't. And that's when they attacked them.
Right.
And Croatia became independent in 1991, but the war officially was over about 1994.
Right.
So it was about 3 years. I mean, I still remember my father, me waving him at the window, like, maybe that was the last time I was supposed to see him or whatever.
Oh my God.
It was really, really hard times for us, man.
Oh my God.
Because we didn't have the army. So just to give you how that looked, right? So army was Yugoslavian army, right? With the whole army being based in Belgrade, Serbia.
Yeah.
Other countries only had police. And pretty much when the war started, we had nothing. We started the war with pistols and police. And people like my father who said, screw that, I'm going to protect my country. And pretty much he sold his car to buy a gun.
Oh my gosh.
And he went to war. So that's the situation how it was. And before we got, the rifles, the tanks, and everything else from other countries, dude, they already, are half through Croatia, right?
Yeah.
And then once we actually got all the artillery, we were much stronger, and we managed to protect ourselves, and pretty much we won the war. But it was really, really hard time because, they had everything and we had nothing.
I can't imagine.
And it was, like we are fighting the Goliath pretty much at the beginning.
I remember you guys hooked me up with a driver guide that took me up to Sarajevo for the day. And he was based in Dubrovnik, and he was, when we were driving from that first bit of Dubrovnik before you cross into Bosnia, that little strip, he was saying that he was telling me stories about how he would hear you would hear like Serbian victory songs being sung up on the mountaintop while his village was getting shelled and things like that. And it's just like, that stuff sticks around for a long time, and it's a really complex and sensitive situation. But I mean, I can't imagine growing up like that. I can't relate to it. I grew up in more of a sterile environment in South Florida where things were just kind of always, chilled out and
perfect in some way.
Perfect is relative. Perfect is relative. Yeah. It certainly showed me what I did not want to be. But it's just unbelievable how far Croatia has come since '94. And if you would have told me when '94, I was 12 years old. If you would have told me that I would be promoting Croatia as a destination for a career, or having and B, having gone there, and just had an insane, incredible time, and C, going back there again, I would have never believed you. I would have been like, this is just completely mental. So, it's just a really testament to the spirit of Croatia and the people, with how progressive it's been. But back to the fun stuff. I know that Croatia is also a hotbed for adventure travel. There's pretty much, I think I'll let you take over and talk about this, but if you're an adrenaline junkie, if you like traveling and being active, there's a ton of stuff to do. What can you do and experience in Croatia?
Yeah, dude. It's really a fun country. So if you want to have fun, you'll have fun. And why I'm going back, I know I might be bored with this, but it's so diverse, man. It's so diverse.
It is.
Like if you're in Zagreb area, you can go, in winter, you can go skiing. During the summer, you can go hiking. You can go kayak. You can go, there's so many bike routes.
Right.
If you go down to Dalmatia, in total, we have about 30 rivers. So you can do kayaking, you can do rafting, you can do canoeing, you can do snorkeling, you can go fishing. Right. On the sea, you can go sailing, you can go kite surfing. There's some of the best winds in whole Europe that are actually located here in Croatia for kite surfing. I just tried it this year. It was amazing.
It sounds awesome.
Dude, it was a really cool experience.
Cool.
So it's really fun. If family with kids is traveling, it's definitely going to be, it's not going to be boring at all. If you have people that are really avid hikers or bikers, there are so many bike routes, right, and hike routes. It's really outdoory destination. It's just a naturally beautiful country.
We've got this awesome video that you produced that I'll put up there as a little bit of a clip while we're talking, to see the different options and to do all the rafting, which are just spectacular for people that are into that. You'd mentioned something. I know that we're out in the Bay Area, and Mr. Elon Musk is quite popular out here, you see a lot of Teslas here. I want to ask you, I believe that you guys have the world's fastest electric car. Is that something that's accurate?
Yeah, dude. It's the fastest mass production electric car.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Rimac factory from Zagreb.
Okay.
And they actually produced, it's called Concept One. Okay. It's the fastest electric car in the world right now. They're killing it, actually. They are taking over the Bugatti right now as well.
No kidding.
So yeah, dude, it's a lot of international companies in investing in Mate Rimac, his name is. So if you ever have people that are into fast cars, we can take them to the factory. They can meet and greet with Mate. They can check out the car. If they're interested in buying, they can test drive it. Like it's really, really cool. I think you are in the States are going to see much more of his name soon.
Okay, for sure. We'll put I'll get some photos and some information up there to put with the video. Well, for this part, I'm going to ask you to come on again. This has been awesome. Just to give kind of an overview of Croatia and the different areas and the sightseeing and what you can expect. We'll show some photos, but we're about to close it down for this first part. Any parting comments for guests considering a trip to Croatia?
Yeah, dude. I think that, a lot of people don't consider Croatia as their maybe go-to destination, maybe more now than they were before, but it's still out just in the starting phase. Mm-hmm. But dude, really, Croatia has a lot to offer. So if the people are interested in history and culture, we are big on that. If they're active, we are big on that. If they just want to lay down on the beach, we have gorgeous beaches. Like absolutely, really, yes. There is really a lot to do and see. And they have an amazing guy like yourself to book it. And I really think that we do surveys every time after people leave Croatia. Mm-hmm. And almost every comment, let's say 90% of the people that come from the States and North America, they say, this exceeded our expectations. We never knew Croatia is this beautiful.
Awesome.
So I think that gives you a lot. And if you're a foodie, I'm sure you know Anthony Bourdain, right?
Of course.
Bourdain, yeah. So what he says, unfortunately, he's not with us any longer, but in 2012, he was doing the filming in Croatia. Uh-huh. And after Istria, his comment live on camera on the record was, if you haven't visited Croatia yet, you are an idiot.
Yes, I fully support that statement.
So we don't think people are idiots if they didn't visit. We just think they should really consider it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That's the endorsement. That's the endorsement. Bourdain says they're an idiot if they haven't gone. Done. I say no more. That's great. All right, Z, I'm going to bid farewell to you right now. Thank you so much. We're going to have you on again. I'm super excited to get this out to people.
Anytime, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, great.
All right, thanks.
See you, man. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Smart Aspirations. Justin Huff is the manager of Swaggy Swan Travel. For all travel-related inquiries, please visit www.swaggyswan.com. That's www.swaggyswan.com. And click inquiries. Have a stupendous day, and we'll see you next week.